Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips a balance in favor of fair use. Okay, I want to give a trigger warning. This is talking about sexual abuse of children and trafficking within Scientology. So, and again, I know everyone's not doing this, but this needs to be revealed. So, Doug Kramer was interviewing Chris Malin, whom used to be an auditor in the UK Scientology. Again, if it's too triggering or too upsetting for you, just turn it off. But it does need to be shared and viewed by a lot of people so they know what's going on.
What are some of the things that you heard?
Okay, so one guy, I won't name him.
Why is it not?
But I was overseeing him, and I was pulling withholds on him, and it turns out that he was...
Trigger warning, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
Turn out now.
This is very difficult for me to talk about because
I understand, man. Take your time.
It was harrowing to listen to, because when you're pulling withholds on someone, you have to get all the details of literally everything they've done in the withhold.
Just want to add in there that right now, while you're sitting having your coffee at your job, just relaxing, or your children are out playing in the grass, or your children are at school having fun with other children, children in Scientology are getting overts and withholds pulled on them.
To the point of hand position, sequence of action, you have to get the whole everything, right? And this guy, it turns out that he's a pedophile. And I'm not just talking about any pedophile. I'm talking about he was one of the big top guys of a network of pedophiles.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was like... So you have like pedophile networks, right? And they they all know each other and they all correspond. And he was one of the head honchos. So any decent, what they would call decent, child imagery or video, he would further it on to everybody else. And not only that, Doug, he was making the fucking shit. So when I say making the shit, this guy, honestly.
I'm sorry, man. Take your time. Like I said, if you need to take a break, bro, I can cover the chat, man.
It's fine. This guy, he was raping children. And I had to pull it. I had to say, what did you do with this 12-year-old boy exactly?
Fuck me, man.
I want to know all the details. Anyway, this was the first day. I swear to God, I got home and I was like, I need a fucking drink.
Wait, this was day one of your...
This was day one of him.
What? Of him, not your auditing?
No, this was just him. Yeah, it's not my auditing.
The first session with this PC, that's the first thing.
It wasn't the first session. It wasn't the first session. It was further...
PC means pre-clear. When people are going up the bridge, they're pre-clear.
And the line.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was as someone who's got children themselves, and I had young children at the time, I was I was mortified from having heard what I heard. So anyway,
I just want to add in real quick. You see, he was a Scientologist and cared about his children, so not every single Scientologist, is, openly abusing, I don't think. Unless you're getting auditing from children, that's a different problem.
The next day, I take him back in session, right? Now, here's the thing on this, right? So, I started pulling withholds and overts on him again of being involved in making and distributing child pornography. right? This guy was not sitting across from me in such a way as to be sorrowful for his actions, upset, like, yeah, like, can you imagine if he was like, oh, and I did this, and I sent this video of this 10-year-old girl being, and I just can't believe I did that, and blah. To some degree, I'm not okay with that. But this guy was bragging to me.
Yeah.
He was like, I found this great video.
Oh my God. Dude.
Because you want to hear about this video. I'm going to tell you.
I do wonder if that's some type of infiltration. And if you guys know, you know.
Oh my God, dude.
And he goes, and he's sitting there bragging, and I don't know if people know this or not, but it's actually illegal for an auditor to just end session mid-session.
Right.
You see that, you guys? You know how Serge Delmar always talks about you can't leave? There you go. More documentation for the FBI or the United Kingdom FBI, whatever agencies. There's your proof right there. It's illegal to end auditing sessions until you say they're done.
I ended that session without ending.
Good for you. Good for you.
I just put my pen and paper down. Right? I said to him, can you go away in the PC lounge? So he looked confused. He got up. He sat down in the PC lounge. I went into the CS office. My heart was...
Listen to this, you guys. I'm sorry I keep interrupting, but I just want to point out he's telling his superiors, and listen what they did. You know, prestigious executives.
Pumping. I wanted to kick the fucking living shit out of it.
As you fucking should have, man. And it would have been justified.
I'll get to that because... So anyway, I wanted to kick the living shit out of him. And the ED and the senior case supervisor came in the office and says, Chris, what's going on? Why have you ended the session? And I said, this guy who's sitting in there is raping and sending images of children being fucked by adults. And he's a head honcho, and I'm not going to listen to it anymore. I said, in fact, I'm going to go in there now. I'm going to kick the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
And I had to be physically restrained. They pulled me back. So I then said, okay, fine. I'm not going to kick the fuck out of him. But here's what I'm going to do. I am going to the police right now.
Good for you.
Yeah. And they said to me, you know what the response was?
That doesn't always work, by the way. Go watch John Wedger and Sean Atwood.
If you do that, Chris, you'll be commiffed and declared.
Guys, I know that sounds...
Committee of Evidence. A committee of evidence is not a court. It is simply a fact-finding body with legal answers, convened to get the facts and clean up the ARC break caused by rumor when it has the truth of it. Anyways, that's enough.
Sounds impossible, but this is the real shit.
It's real.
Yep, that's real. Right. And this is why you might understand more the Danny Masterson case and the rapes and covers up.
So this guy, I said to the senior CS, he, if I remember correctly, I think he had to go back in and finish the session on him because I refused. I got in a lot of trouble for that.
Mm-hmm.
You see that, you guys? More inversion. He gets in trouble because he wants to kick the shit out of a pedophile who's R-ing children, filming it and selling it. He gets in ethics. And by the way, children get into ethics for everything, all kinds of goofy things.
Into ethics, cramming. And what boils my fucking piss even more is that this guy was a huge donator to the Ideal Law Project.
Listen to that, you guys. The Ideal Law Project. The Ideal Law Project. The Ideal Law Project. The Ideal Law Project. The Ideal Law Project.
Very next morning, I walk in the corridor, and guess who's sitting in the ED's office, having coffee, laughing and joking?
It's so
This fucking
disgusting.
child rapist. This child rapist was sitting there in the ED's office, laughing and joking, and he just donated another £200. And guess what? The ED knew. She knew what he was doing.
How's that for cover-up? The ED, I'm not sure what that... Maybe executive director? Another prestigious executive.
I don't even know what the fuck to say. I mean,
I do. I know what the fuck to say.
Please.
Fucking wow.
That doesn't cover it. Did you go in and see that happening, and then did you have a response? What the fuck is going through your mind when
My
you saw
response
that?
was, well, they tried to put him back with me.
No
as a
way.
PC, and I said,
my...
I am not touching this guy with a barge pole. You can absolutely fucking be. And
You see what they do? You see, this is the Scientology policies that are narcissistic in nature. I tend to believe that a lot of these people are full-blown narcissists because they're just fine with all this stuff. Like, what kind of people would be okay with this? And as I said, maybe it's an infiltration, and anybody who knows, knows. But anyway, I don't know. It's all illegal. And yet this guy is an ethical person. He knows that's wrong. And he gets in trouble. Just like when the children want to do something, they want to play, or maybe they don't want to take a Scientology indoctrination course. They hate it. They're bored. They don't like LRH. They do the same thing to the children. They put them out ethics.
And they're like, you can't refuse to actually, per policy, refuse to audit a PC. I says, guess what? A child rapist? Yes, I can.
That's why we need to blast these policies out there. Someone needs to get a hold of some of these policies and just blast the whole internet with them. Blast it. Have them so saturated throughout the internet that there's nothing they can do anymore. So then everyone can see exactly how awful this organization is.
I don't want to hear that shit. Thank you. And and he was around on lines for quite some time after. But now here's the thing. After I left, right? After I left, it took me several years to Google his name to find out if he'd been caught. Because if he had not been caught, that was on me, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was I should have done something at the time.
It's
Because
okay.
all those, yeah, but it's not okay.
I understand, but you were, let's just say...
It's not okay. It's not okay at all. And I Googled him 6 months ago. And guess what? He was arrested and charged. He got caught a few years ago. Police raided his home, took his hard drive, his servers, and he got charged with 1 count of making indecent images of children.
What?
What did I tell you guys? It's always the same modus operandi. They always do the same thing. Go through and look at some of these so-called, I would call them like pedophile handler types. They always get charged with the same thing. Figure it out.
Wow.
Several counts of having animal pornography with women and children and boys on his computer.
You guys know what that is, right? They get mad when I out them. You guys know what it is. What is hidden in the dark will be brought to light.
And he didn't even get sent to jail.
Are you shitting me?
I'm not.
That right there tells me he's one of them. You guys know who I'm talking about.
I'm not shitting you. He got a 12-month community order and a fine. And he also... yeah, but what the police don't know is that this guy was actually a ringleader of an entire porn network.
Are you sure?
They knew. They knew. And we cannot blame all police officers. Some of the police officers are in on it, not all of them are. If those police officers try to do the right thing, they'll come up missing. And that's a fact. You can't touch these evil motherfuckers. You're not allowed to touch them.
The police don't know?
The police do not know.
They're not involved in
But
covering
guess
up.
what? In Birmingham Morgue, 8 miles away from my house, there is a file. And that file tells exactly what he was up to.
Are you saying that you specifically have the file, or you know what's going on? I mean,
I don't have the file. Scientology keep files and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They never throw anything away. So those files there are sitting there in the org. All of his session notes, my session notes.
Any Scientologists that are listening to this and you're thinking about leaving, if there's a way you can do it, take all of your files. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, because I don't want to give away the secrets, because we got secrets too. If there's any way that you can get these files, especially, you do have to be careful with these types of cases. I'm not saying Scientology is infiltrated with like this everywhere, but certain files you can take. Find a way. Just do it. Doesn't mean anybody's going to do anything, but at least you'll have them.
Are all sitting there, and they knew, and they covered up for him because he was flashing the can.
He was more than that. I'm going to end it there, you guys. I'm going to leave the link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace.